Hi, this is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. What does it take to be a great dispatcher? We have made a few videos about this, but these are some new points and hopefully I can have more for you soon. The first one is experience. Experience is of course important. I see people saying, well, I have 3 years of experience, I have 5 years of experience, and that's great. But once we are talking about 10 years of experience or 20, something like that, then that's some real experience right there. I'm not trying to down-talk on people who have less, but the more you have, of course, it's better. Here in Usora Express, we try to have dispatchers who have more than 5 years of experience. Why 5 years of experience? Because that's when you get to experience more situations and more problems, and learning how to resolve those problems is crucial once that problem arises again. Now, when I talk about experience, this is not just general dispatching experience, because there are a lot of different industries within trucking. What I'm talking about here is, for example, we had people who were working with Landstar. And Landstar is a very specific niche for a dispatcher, because what they do is sometimes they would book loads with their own customers. They would also book loads from other brokers and sell them to their BCOs. And what they do is they just go on the load board, they find a load, they post it on their load board, and they just give it to that BCO. They don't work with the same owner-operators in Landstar the whole time. They work with different owner-operators. So for them, it's just like usually they're working on commission, and they would just post that load, and once someone books it, they can just leave. They don't have to, the more you work, the more you make. They don't have a schedule like 7 to 5, and they don't work with same drivers, and they can just book a load to anywhere and never hear from that driver again. If you are working here, for example, if you're working with broker loads, then you have your own driver, and then once you send that driver somewhere, you have to get that driver out of there the next day or in 2 days. So you gotta think carefully where you're gonna send them, because it will make it harder for you and for that truck to get out. So it's different. Also, if you are only working with dedicated loads, with customer loads, that's also very different. If you're working expedite, if you're working auto parts, box trucks, sprinter vans, it all depends. Let's say we are looking for a dispatcher here, and we work with broker loads, with DAT mostly, and someone comes here and they have been working for 10 years in expedite. That's a totally different thing, right? You have to be able to work here. This is different. You have your own trucks. You have to book loads all the time. You have to help these guys if they need a pickup number, a lot of things, right? So it is different. Next thing that I have for you is you have to be able to adjust to each driver as a great dispatcher. Same thing, if you're an expedite, if you're doing Landstar, auto parts, the most important thing over there is to update the boards. Update, if the broker or the customer, they want to see how many pallets you have, if the driver is loaded, if they're tracking what time they're arriving, stuff like that. So that's the most important thing over there. Here, you have to be able to understand each driver, what they like, what they don't like, what they can do, and what they can not do. Don't just assume that a driver knows things. It doesn't matter how much experience they have. You have to talk to the driver once, especially once you start working with them in the beginning. Talk to them for first few weeks. Make sure they understand the industry and what's going on currently in the current markets. And you got to understand their capabilities, their weak points, and their wants and needs. Are you an owner-operator tired of being just another number? It's time to drive for a team that respects your hustle. Welcome to Usora Express. We do not just offer loads. We offer a partnership built on transparency, top-tier rates, and the freedom to run your business your way. With Usora, you get consistent miles, top-notch support, and fast settlements that keep your cash flow moving as fast as your wheels. Stop settling for less. Take control of your career today. Visit usoraexpress.com or call us now to start your journey with a leader in logistics. Usora Express, your drive, our mission. Another thing is you don't be cocky, right? I see some dispatchers, and I worked with some of them personally in an office, and then you can see that online as well, like if they're working remotely. There are some dispatchers that once they get to a certain point, they have experience, they're doing great, right, as dispatchers, but then they start thinking that they're better than anyone else, and that's not good for them and for the company, and also for the relationship with the drivers and brokers. Once you start being cocky, once you get too comfortable and think of yourself as highly skilled and irreplaceable, the reality will hit you. So be humble, right? Of course, you have this experience, use it as your advantage, right? Use it as to navigate every day through your workday, right? It will help you a lot. But if you think that there is no one out there like you, that you're the only one that knows all these things and that can resolve any situation, okay, right? You deserve the title, but there are other people as well that will do same job and maybe even a better job. I myself, I learn every day, and almost every day, I'm not going to say I do mistakes almost every day, but I do something that I go back to, and then I think, well, maybe I could have handled that differently. And then next time you try to do it, even after so many years of driving and dispatching and running a trucking company, I still learn every day, and I try to stay humble. Next thing is that you're the most important link between driver, broker, sales rep, manager, safety, accounting, all of it. And you should start acting like it, not in a, like I said before, in a cocky way, but more like a person that can be trusted. You have to know how to navigate between all these people and departments and earn their respect. Once you do that, you will have authority as an advantage. What I'm talking about is everyone is different. You talk to brokers in a different way. You talk to people from accounting in different way, from safety to drivers. You have to be able to relate to all of them in that specific way, so you can manage that circle. Once a load, you as a dispatcher, you book the load, you send it to the driver, driver sends it to the accounting, they do their invoicing. If there's a problem with the driver, with safety, with hours of service, ELD, accident, something happens, you have to communicate with them as well. And then if there's a big problem, then the manager gets involved, right? So it's a big circle, and you are probably the most important link in this circle, right? Everyone else can make a mistake. Everyone else can blame it on something or someone. You, on the other hand, it's hard for you to blame it on someone else, because you're the one that booked the load, you're the one that talked to the driver, you're the one that dispatches the driver, you're the one that solves the problems, and you're the one that they get back to if they have a problem. So there's a lot of pressure on you. And the next thing is, remember, it takes years to gain that experience and trust and respect, but it takes only a few mistakes to lose it all. So you have to cover your bases at all times. When you book a load, make sure you ask the broker all those questions that you're supposed to ask them to cover all your bases. If someone comes back and says, hey, well, why didn't you do this? Now you can show them, okay, this is what I did, this is what I asked, this is what they answered, and this is how it went. So you cover all of that. So this way, you're an experienced dispatcher, you're trusted, earned your respect, and you're keeping that respect because you did everything you were supposed to do. Even if it takes 2-3 extra minutes per load, like when you book a load, when you look at the rate confirmation, if something is not clear, call the broker back, email them back and ask them. If the broker tells you something about the load, make sure you communicate that to the driver. Don't just forward them that email or just text them. If they reply, if the driver replies with a text like, okay, acknowledge, then yeah, you're good. But if the driver does not reply to change of instructions or change of plan or something like that, call them and, don't just tell them. Make sure they understand, because, they might be driving, they might be tired. Some people, it takes a longer time to explain to them something that you think is simple, right? So take your time to cover all your bases. Thanks for watching. This is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking. I'll see you guys around.